Well, it was obviously an unfortunate incident. I think it kind of made me sad on two accounts. One was that I was very sad that we live in an age when someone takes a picture of another person in a vulnerable moment and rather than delete it.
Hollywood is often viewed as a land of dreams, where talent, beauty, and hard work lead to fame and fortune. But behind the glitz and glamour, many female stars have endured unimaginable horrors. Beneath the dazzling red carpets and bright lights, a much darker reality lurks, one of abuse, exploitation, and control. For decades, Hollywood has functioned as a machine, treating women as commodities rather than artists. From the early days of the studio system to the present day, countless actresses have faced career manipulation, sexual coercion, body shaming, and even physical harm. Many of these women were forced into toxic relationships, given dangerous drugs to maintain impossible beauty standards, and even subjected to forced abortions, all for the sake of keeping them marketable. This video will reveal the shocking ways Hollywood has mistreated its most talented female stars. Some stories may be well known, while others have been buried under decades of silence. The goal is to shed light on these injustices and ask the important question: has Hollywood truly changed? Or has it simply found new ways to continue its cycle of abuse? Studio contracts that controlled women's lives. During Hollywood's golden age, 1920s, 1960s, actresses were not just employees, they were property of the studios that signed them. These ironclad contracts dictated every aspect of their existence, from their weight and appearance to their personal relationships and public behavior. Take Judy Garland, for example. Signed by MGM as a teenager, she was immediately put under strict control. Studio executives decided she was too chubby and forced her onto a strict diet of black coffee, chicken broth, and diet pills. To keep up with grueling work schedules, she was also given amphetamines to stay awake and barbiturates to sleep. This cycle of drug dependency ultimately contributed to her tragic early death at 47. Actresses who dared to challenge their studio bosses faced severe punishment. Bette Davis, known for her fiery personality and immense talent, once tried to break her contract with Warner Brothers after they kept giving her roles she despised. As a result, she was suspended without pay and nearly lost her career. Olivia de Havilland, another Golden Age icon, successfully fought against the infamous studio contract system in court, paving the way for actors to have more control over their careers. But it came at a great cost. She was blacklisted for years. These contracts ensured that female stars remained under the thumb of powerful men who decided their fates. They were expected to be glamorous, obedient, and marketable at all times, no matter the personal toll it took on them. While these studio contracts were restrictive and manipulative, they were just the beginning. Many actresses found themselves in even worse situations, trapped in a toxic culture where sexual exploitation was an unspoken rule. The casting couch. Sexual exploitation of women. One of the most infamous aspects of Hollywood's dark past is the casting couch, a term that became synonymous with the abuse of power in the industry. For decades, young actresses were pressured into providing sexual favors in exchange for roles. Powerful studio heads, producers, and directors saw aspiring actresses as easy prey, knowing that refusing their advances could mean career destruction. Marilyn Monroe was one of the first to speak out about this culture. In interviews, she revealed that producers often propositioned her, promising career advancements if she complied. Joan Collins, another Hollywood legend, later confirmed that she was offered a major film role in exchange for sleeping with a producer. She refused and lost the part. This abusive power dynamic did not disappear with the decline of the old studio system. The Harvey Weinstein scandal, which exploded in 2017, exposed how Hollywood had continued to allow powerful men to exploit young actresses for decades. Dozens of women, including Angelina Jolie, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Ashley Judd, came forward with stories of how Weinstein used his position to harass and assault them, and how those who rejected him were blacklisted. The fact that such abuses remained hidden for so long highlights how deeply embedded this culture of silence was. Women in Hollywood were expected to endure abuse, keep quiet, and keep working. The control Hollywood exerted over its actresses extended far beyond career opportunities. It reached into their most personal decisions, including their right to have children. Forced abortions, controlling women's bodies. Pregnancy was considered a liability in old Hollywood. If a leading lady became pregnant, the studio saw it as a threat to her marketability and often forced her to terminate the pregnancy. These decisions were made entirely by the studio heads, with little regard for the emotional or physical well-being of the women involved. Judy Garland, already tormented by MGM's control over her diet and drug use, was allegedly pressured into multiple abortions by the studio. Jean Harlow, the original blonde bombshell, was also rumored to have been forced to terminate pregnancies at the studio's insistence. Even Bette Davis, one of Hollywood's strongest-willed actresses, reportedly faced immense pressure to end a pregnancy for the sake of her career. These were not isolated cases. Studios viewed female stars as investments. Pregnancy was an inconvenience that could interfere with film schedules and ticket sales. The emotional and psychological damage suffered by these women was never considered. Today, actresses no longer face direct studio-mandated abortions, but the pressure to remain physically perfect and available still exists. The expectation that women in Hollywood must sacrifice personal happiness for professional success remains a lingering shadow of the past. Even if an actress managed to maintain her career, she had to meet impossible beauty standards. Hollywood has always demanded perfection, and those who didn't conform were humiliated, mocked, or forced to alter their appearances, publicly shamed for their looks. Hollywood has long dictated how women should look, and those who didn't fit the mold were punished. The industry's obsession with youth, thinness, and perfection led to decades of body shaming and forced plastic surgery. Even today, women in Hollywood continue to be scrutinized in ways their male counterparts never experience. Renee Zellweger, an Academy Award-winning actress, was publicly ridiculed for her natural aging. Jennifer Lawrence, despite being a healthy weight, was told she was too fat at the start of her career. The most disturbing aspect of Hollywood's beauty standards is how they are imposed at every stage of an actress's career. Young actresses are pressured to be impossibly thin. Middle-aged actresses are told they are too old for leading roles, and aging actresses are often forced into plastic surgery just to stay relevant. Actresses who resist these standards face professional consequences. They are given fewer roles, mocked in the media, and ultimately pushed out of the spotlight. The industry has made it clear, a woman's value is tied to her appearance, no matter how talented she is. For many actresses, trying to escape Hollywood's control led to career sabotage. Women who wanted more than just one type of role found themselves blacklisted or reduced to irrelevance. Typecasting and career sabotage. Many of Hollywood's most talented women saw their careers destroyed simply for refusing to play the roles the industry expected of them. Mae West, famous for her bold personality and sexually liberated characters, was blacklisted for being too provocative. Dorothy Dandridge, one of the first black actresses to achieve mainstream success, was only given hyper-sexualized roles and denied opportunities that went to white actresses. Even in modern Hollywood, actresses like Megan Fox have spoken out about how they were pigeonholed into sexy roles rather than being given a chance to prove their acting abilities. Women who tried to take control of their careers were often shut out of major projects. This pattern shows that while Hollywood has changed in some ways, many of its toxic practices remain deeply ingrained. Dangerous and unethical filming conditions. Hollywood has long treated actresses as disposable, expecting them to endure physically and emotionally grueling conditions for the sake of a great performance. Many female stars were subjected to life-threatening stunts, exhaustion, and even real violence, all in the name of cinematic realism. One of the most horrifying examples is Tippi Hedren, the star of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. She was promised that mechanical birds would be used for the terrifying attack scenes, only to arrive on set and find herself surrounded by real, live birds. They clawed at her skin, pecked at her face, and left her in tears. Hitchcock reportedly relished her suffering, insisting on multiple takes despite her injuries. Hedren later revealed that she suffered from PTSD for years after filming. Linda Blair, the young actress in The Exorcist, endured brutal conditions while shooting the film. She was repeatedly thrown around in a violently rigged harness, causing permanent spinal injuries. Her pain was dismissed at the time, with many claiming she was being dramatic, only for doctors to later confirm she had sustained long-term damage. More recently, Uma Thurman was pressured by Quentin Tarantino to perform a high-speed car stunt in Kill Bill despite safety concerns. The result? A devastating crash that left her with permanent neck and knee injuries. The footage of her accident was allegedly hidden for years, and only after public outcry did Thurman receive any form of justice. The message was clear. Female actresses were expected to suffer for their roles, while men in power made the decisions that put them at risk. Speaking out against mistreatment in Hollywood often meant career suicide. Actresses who refused advances, challenged directors, or demanded better treatment were labeled difficult and quietly erased from the industry. Blacklisting and ruined reputations. Hollywood has a long history of destroying the careers of women who dared to defy the status quo. If an actress refused the advances of a powerful man, spoke out about abuse, or even just pushed for better roles, she risked being blacklisted. Hedy Lamarr, one of Hollywood's most beautiful and talented actresses, was also a brilliant inventor. She co-developed frequency hopping technology, which would later become the foundation for Wi-Fi. However, instead of being celebrated for her intelligence, she was reduced to a mere sex symbol. When she demanded more substantial roles, the industry turned its back on her, leaving her struggling for work. Kim Novak, another stunning actress, was nearly destroyed by Columbia Pictures' head, Harry Cohn. When she refused his advances, he tried to sabotage her career, spreading rumors that she was difficult to work with. Her career never recovered from his campaign against her. More recently, actresses like Mira Sorvino and Ashley Judd revealed that they were blacklisted by Harvey Weinstein for refusing his advances. Sorvino, an Academy Award-winning actress, saw her career suddenly stall for no apparent reason, until the #MeToo movement exposed the truth. Hollywood had long protected the men who pulled the strings, punishing women who refused to play by their rules. While some women were pushed out of Hollywood entirely, others remained in the industry, only to have their personal struggles turned into public entertainment. Instead of receiving help, they were mocked, exploited, and ridiculed. Publicized breakdowns and exploited mental health. The entertainment industry has a cruel way of turning female suffering into spectacle. Actresses who struggled with mental health issues were not given support or privacy. Instead, their breakdowns became tabloid fodder. Marilyn Monroe is perhaps the most tragic example. Her struggles with anxiety, depression, and substance abuse were well known. Yet instead of receiving help, she was manipulated and exploited. The studio controlled every aspect of her life, prescribing her pills to keep her working and punishing her when she couldn't perform. After her death in 1962, the media dissected every detail of her personal demons, turning her tragedy into a never-ending headline. Decades later, Britney Spears faced similar treatment. In the early 2000s, she was hounded by paparazzi, mocked for her mental health struggles, and ridiculed when she shaved her head in a moment of crisis. Instead of being seen as a woman in need of help, she became the butt of late-night jokes. The media and the industry thrived on her suffering. Drew Barrymore, Lindsay Lohan, and Amanda Bynes all faced similar fates. Hollywood loves a tragic female downfall, but it rarely takes responsibility for the role it plays in pushing these women to their breaking points. Actresses didn't just have to endure mistreatment on set, they also had their personal relationships controlled. Many were forced into relationships for the sake of publicity, their real emotions disregarded in favor of Hollywood marketing strategies. Pressured into toxic relationships for publicity. For decades, Hollywood studios dictated who their actresses could and couldn't date. Relationships were often arranged purely for publicity, with little regard for the personal happiness of the women involved. Judy Garland was one of many actresses who was forced into fake relationships to maintain her public image. Studio executives decided who she should be seen with, ensuring that she appeared desirable yet wholesome to audiences. Rock Hudson, a closeted gay actor, was married off to a woman to hide his sexuality. The studio feared that if his secret was revealed, it would ruin his leading man status. His wife was essentially used as a prop, trapped in a relationship designed to maintain an illusion. Even today, many suspect that PR relationships still exist, with celebrities being paired up strategically to generate media attention rather than for genuine romantic connections. Even the most successful actresses have found themselves fighting for something as basic as equal pay. While male actors receive multi-million-dollar paychecks, their female co-stars are often given a fraction of the amount, despite having equal or even greater star power. Paid less than male co-stars, even today. The gender pay gap in Hollywood is nothing new. Classic actresses like Bette Davis and Katharine Hepburn fought for fair wages, but still made significantly less than their male counterparts. Jennifer Lawrence famously spoke out about discovering she was paid far less than her male co-stars in American Hustle, despite being one of the most in-demand actresses at the time. Scarlett Johansson, one of the highest-grossing actresses in Hollywood, also had to battle for fair pay, even after proving her box office draw time and time again. Even Academy Award-winning actresses struggle to receive equal compensation, highlighting how Hollywood continues to undervalue women, no matter their talent or success. For many actresses, the biggest danger isn't low pay or typecasting, it's personal safety. Stalkers, harassment, and death threats are a terrifying reality for many women in the public eye. Stalked and harassed with no protection. Hollywood's women are often left vulnerable to obsessed fans and stalkers, with little protection from the industry. Jodie Foster was stalked by John Hinckley Jr., who was so obsessed with her that he attempted to assassinate President Ronald Reagan to impress her. Sandra Bullock was forced to hide in a closet while an intruder broke into her home. Reese Witherspoon, too, has faced terrifying encounters with stalkers. Despite the known dangers, security measures for female celebrities have often been shockingly inadequate. Many are forced to hire their own private security just to feel safe, as the industry itself offers little protection. The abuse, exploitation, and mistreatment of women in Hollywood have been happening for nearly a century. While the #MeToo movement exposed many of these dark secrets, the question remains, has anything truly changed? Actresses still face discrimination, still earn less than their male counterparts, and still struggle against an industry that often values appearance over talent. While progress has been made, Hollywood's deep-seated misogyny is far from gone. So, what do you think? Has Hollywood truly changed, or has it just learned how to hide its darkest secrets better? Let us know in the comments below.